So we are the Muldowers.
Yeah, I'm Michael. It's Judy.
And it's Michael's birthday today.
Yeah, it is.
I'm letting everybody know today's Michael's birthday because.
And I'm feeling it in the old bones now. Okay, we'll begin. I noticed that the workshop is entitled something with Tin Pan Alley. So give you a 1 minute kind of spiel on Tin Pan Alley. And it's got at least three different meanings. And on one hand, we just use it generally to refer to essentially to the popular music of an era. Beginning with the tune that seemed to change everything was After the Ball Is Over, 1892. And Tin Pan Alley really referred to the collection of the sheet music publishers. And between them and the composers, they figured out they can actually make money, selling this. The most famous, best American composer of the 1800s was Stephen Foster. He died early in life and penniless. And these guys were not going to let that happen. Any case, it also refers to a physical location. This is a place in Manhattan on West 28th Street where the collection of the big sheet music publishers were all concentrated. And it was one long block with sometimes 5-story buildings. And each room in these buildings would contain an upright piano, frequently kind of tinny. And in the summer months, obviously before there was air conditioning, the windows would all be up. And as you walk down the street, you'd hear this cacophony of sounds. And some music publisher came up with the description. It sounded like a whole bunch of tin pans, kind of rattling. And so that's where they got the name. Any case, we're going to begin with a kind of sort of chronologically. We're going to do a kind of a brief history. And so beginning with the late 1800s and into the first decade or two of the 20th century, one of the most popular forms was in 3/4 time music. These were all waltzes. So Judy will tell you about this first one we're going to do.
Well, what you have to realize is in the early 1900s, if a young couple wanted to get away from the watchful eyes of their parents, they didn't have a whole lot of options. And then there was this invention of the automobile. And they could sneak away. And they could be in the automobile and go for a car ride and maybe stop where they might be spooning. You know what spooning is? It's necking. And this song was written in 1905. It's a waltz, and it was about the most popular automobile on the road in America in 1905. So here's your first quiz. What was the automobile?
Was it a Ford? Yep, Ford came actually up to, I think it was 1908. So this is 1905, and we'll play. You'll pick up real fast in the beginning verse.
And one of the things that we forgot to mention is we love the rarely heard verses. And this is so typical of Tin Pan Alley music. The verses are the introductory story that lead into the familiar chorus. So you will know probably every chorus that we do. And you're welcome to play along on the choruses. If you want to see what chords, what key we're in and what chords we're using, you can access banjojudy.com. Just look for songs and it's all there.
I think everything we're playing today is on there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's how I learned. I figure out what key I want to play in and figure out what arrangement I want, and then I post it online and figure I better learn it that way since other people are. So this one is about a car, and you'll know what it is pretty soon. Let's see if I can. Johnny Steele has an Oldsmobile. He loves a dear little girl. She is the queen of the gas machine. She sets his heart in a whirl. And when they go for a spin, you know, she tries to drive the auto so he lets her steer as he gets her ear. Whispers soft and low.
Come away with me, Lucille, in my merry Oldsmobile.
Down the road, a flight will fly, automobiling, you and I.
The church will swiftly seal.
Then our wedding bells will peal. You can go as far as you like with me in my merry Oldsmobile. They love to spark in the dark old park as they go flying along. She says she knows how the engine goes. The sparkers awfully strong. They love to spoon to the engine's tune. Their honeymoon will happen soon. He'll get Lucille with his Oldsmobile, and then they'll softly croon. Come away with me, Lucy. You can sing along in my merry Oldsmobile. Down the road of life we fly, automobiling, you and I. To the church we'll swiftly steal, then our wedding bells will peal. You can go as far as you like with me in my merry Oldsmobile. Da 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 da.
So that was a typical waltz from 1905, and the music, though, was beginning to change with the first the ragtime pianists turn the century, Scott Joplin being most famous, and this new form of music was taking over, and so the premier composer of this period, and maybe the most important of all the American composers, Irving Berlin, wrote a wonderful song for his first Broadway show that incorporated all this ragtime. And in it, he did a song which he called a double song. I guess today he called contrapuntal. But in it, he explained musically the changing times. That while music was changing to ragtime, there were still a lot of people who liked the old, sweet music.
The worst thing that could happen to a family was for their teenager to say, I want to play ragtime. This was so taboo. They wanted waltzes, they wanted classical music in their family parlors. They did not want ragtime. And by the way, Michael, I think we will do the ragtime. We'll segue into that ragtime.
You want to do the
Yeah, we'll do that.
Alexander?
Yeah, because I think we'll have time. But there were so many songs with ragtime. Think about it. Ragtime in the title. There was Yiddle on your fiddle. Can you play some ragtime? Michael's favorite.
Was when Ragtime Rosie ragged the rosary. And which one was actually, rather you think of that as just kind of a novelty title, no, it was actually a pretty big song back in
And Ragtime Cowboy Joe. It was just,
I love that.
if you put ragtime in the title, it was in the second decade of the 20th century. So what we're going to do is we're going to do two Irving Berlin songs, starting with one from 1914, and then we're going to segue into the most important song of the era.
Not that it was the most important American popular song up till that time, in 1911, and we'll tell you a little bit about it
After we finish.
And so the first one in the medley is the one that describes this changing taste and the contest, if you will, between the old sweet music and the new ragtime music.
And I'll be doing the old and sweet part.
And because Judy is sweet, right?
Oh,
And
that
I'm,
much.
and I'm gonna do the raggedy, I'm gonna make a case for
Because he's
the
raggedy.
new ragtime music.
So I apologize, you probably just said this. What was the time frame change?
The what?
It was gradually, so the ragtime came in beginning with the black ragtime pianists at the turn of the century.
Okay.
But essentially the ragtime era, it goes up to basically to World War I, where it gradually evolved into what they did traditional jazz. And but it introduced syncopation and the ragtime songs, and the one we're gonna do, which is Alexander's Ragtime Band, is musicologists tell me that it's not even, they don't even consider it a true ragtime thing. It's basically kind of a march tempo, but they're a little bit off. It's, you know, anything from this period with that kind of, with the sense of humor, with the colloquial kind of speech, and this is actually, when you listen to Alexander's, you also hear the stuff from the minstrel era. You hear, and in those days, I mean, it was called coon songs, and he introduced some of it, but without the derogatory stuff. And the original sheet music for Alexander's had a black band leader on the cover, and with subsequent things, the band leader became white and the whole orchestra was white. But, and there's really nothing too offensive in there. So we'll begin with the
Won't you play a simple melody like my mother sang to me? One with that good old-fashioned harmony. Play some simple melody.
a musical needs at your heart and dream, and won't you play me some rag? Just change that classic nag to some sweet, beautiful track. If you play from a copy of the tune that is choppy, you'll get all my applause. And that is simply because I want to listen to rag. A musical needs at your heart
Play simple
won't you play me some rag?
melody
Just change that classic
like
nag
my mother
to some
sang
sweet,
to
beautiful
me.
track. If you want to play
One with that good old-fashioned
get all my
harmony.
and that is simply
Play some
I
simple
wanna
melody.
I wanna listen to rag.
Oh honey, better hurry and let's meander
Ain't you going
to the leader man, ragged meter man.
oh honey,
Oh honey, let me take you to Alexander's grand brass band. Ain't you coming along? Come on in here, come on in here, Alexander's ragtime band.
come on,
Come on in here, come on in here, it's the best band in the land.
hey, bugle, I never heard before.
So natural that you wanna go to that one song because he got a penny because he was the composer for each piece of sheet music sold, and a penny because he was the lyricist. So for each piece of sheet music, he made 2 cents.
If you have a calculator, picture a few million copies of sheet music. We're not even talking about record sales. This is all sheet music.
So he made $50,000.
Roughly. And
Which was worth about what, do you think, in
today's money, what is that worth?
Take a
Yes.
guess.
1910, I remember.
So it's about $1.5 million. Tomorrow it might be $1.75 million.
Yeah, inflation.
But it's about $1.5 million. So he no longer had to, Irving Berlin no longer had to sleep in flop houses. He could actually afford a few luxuries, such as a fancy person who had gone to a fancy music school who could jot down everything that he was thinking.
Yeah, he was
In musical notation.
He was musically illiterate. He could not read or write music.
He plucked out everything on the black keys of a piano. That's how he composed.
So he barely could play piano, and
So he hired these fancy boys to write the
he
music
had a
for
trick
him.
piano, which was called a transposing piano. So it had a lever underneath the keyboard. And so if you're playing just in black keys, apparently it comes out in F sharp. Suppose he wanted to do a song and it sang and he wanted to play it in C or
He would just
B
move that.
flat. He could just shift the keyboard up and down, so he'd play the same notes, but it would come out in a different key. It's sort of like, basically the trick is using a capo on a guitar or banjo. And
I think there are 3 of those pianos still in existence. One's
yeah, we saw
one at the
One's
Jewish
one's
Museum
at
in
the
New York,
Smithsonian.
and one's in Smithsonian. I don't remember where the third, maybe New York somewhere.
Okay, so we were talking about how music's changing. We're going to get more into, if you guys are primarily banjo players and all, into the kind of style of music which is the 20s, the roaring 20s, the jazz age. And the one song that really epitomizes, that people immediately think of when you think of the roaring 20s it's a dance, which is Charleston. And now Charleston actually began as a dance, and they added lyrics later. It was written by the most famous of the stride pianists, and
James P. Johnson.
James P. Johnson, or Jimmy Johnson, and guy who taught Fats Waller, and so on, wrote so many great pieces. But his story was kind of interesting. So maybe a decade before the song was actually published, which was 1923, he was playing in a dive in a saloon in New York City, a few blocks away from the waterfront. And the saloon was frequented by stevedores or longshoremen, many of whom came from South Carolina, particularly Charleston. And he was intrigued by the dance steps that these dancers were producing on the floor. He'd never seen anything like it. He wrote about 8 tunes for this kind of dance style, and he called them Charlestons. Now, we jump to the year 1923, when he and another fellow were putting together a black review for Broadway, and they decided to use one of these Charlestons. So the familiar one that we know, they picked that and they added words to it. Judy and I are going to sing the words, which are rarely sung, and we're actually going to do it with a verse, which is rarely performed. That's one of the things that we like about this style of music. I think a lot of times you're missing something when you just jump in and start playing the refrain or the chorus.
And in the words of the lyrics, you'll hear mention of other dances. Buck and wing. Anybody ever hear that?
These are earlier, largely ragtime dance.
What we learned about dancing in the early part of the 20th century is people were not supposed to touch in public, male and female. So they used dancing as an excuse. So you'll have a dance like the grizzly bear, and they're doing things like this.
And they're growling.
And then you growl at each other, and then you touch your
The
paws.
turkey trot and,
And I read somewhere that, Santa Cruz, California is probably the most liberal place in the United States. But in the early 20s, you would be arrested for dancing in public. In Santa Cruz,
touching.
California, how times have changed. Just 100 years ago.
Now they arrest you if you're wearing clothes. Okay, Charleston.
So, anyway, it starts out with an interesting,
In minor.
sounds nothing like the Charleston.
I guess it's, yeah, we play it in F, but the verse is in
Okay.
minor.
I'm
D
gonna start
minor.
and then you come in on the fifth time.
Okay.
Carolina, Carolina, at last they've got you on the map. With the blue tune, funny new tune, with a peculiar step. You may not be able to buck or wing, foxtrot, two-step, or even sing. If you ain't got religion in your feet, you can do this dance and do it neat.
Charleston, Charleston, maybe in Carolina. Some dance, I'll say there's something.
That Charleston, Charleston, Lord, how you can shuffle.
Every second, something.
Man, I'm telling you, it's a lot. The sweet buck dance, wing dance, will be that number one. Charleston, New Charleston, that dance is surely covered sometime. We'll dance it one time, the dance called Charleston in South Carolina. Buck dance, wing dance, will be that number one. Charleston, the New Charleston, that dance is surely covered sometime. You'll dance it one time, the dance called Charleston in South Carolina.
And by the way, when you turn with the jazz guys, they'll be playing a piece and they'll say Charleston, and so they're referring to that rhythm. And when you hear that rhythm, you're going to hear it in a lot of the 20s tunes. You hear that, and you know right away that the tune was written after 1923. So that was introduced, in 23. Actually, we probably play a few other. You'll hear that kind of rhythm in Sweet Georgia Brown and so on. Parts with that rhythm. Okay, we're going to play a few tunes from the typical 20s. I don't know how many of these you know, and apparently I played one of them last night at the jam, and people didn't seem to know. They knew it a little bit, but it's not part of the typical repertoire for
So
these
what we
tunes.
were talking about last night was Jim Kweskin and the Jug Band. How many people have ever heard of him?
Okay, so a few.
Few people. So we learned what Michael and I discovered is we used to really listen to a lot of Jim Kweskin and Jug Band. If you have an opportunity, tune into YouTube. Jim Kweskin is still around. He's 80. Is he your age?
He's 85.
He's 85. Michael's age. Okay. And he's performing. He's still performing, and he's fabulous. And he does great. I mean, he's just amazing. And so, if you have a chance to go on YouTube, look up Jim Kweskin, Kweskin, and I think you'd enjoy what you hear. But what we discovered is a lot of what we sing and what we know, we probably heard from the Kweskin Jug Band
Originally, yeah.
originally. Okay, so what are we playing?
So we're going to do a number, and this kind of exemplifies what we were saying before about adding verses to these tunes. Really produces sometimes an enhanced, improved effect. I noticed people at the jam, they didn't want to hear, in the verses. The verses typically are not as melodic as the refrain or the chorus, but it tells you, it builds up the story of why the chorus is the way it is. Here's one about a person who lived a life of, I guess in those days they'd say it was kind of a hobo, and today might even be kind of a street person, but it was kind of romanticized. You'll hear the words, and it's, I'm just breezing along with the breeze. And I don't know how many people know that tune. Great tune, and it's not played often enough, so, and we'll start with the back to 2 verses. I've been over since I was a child. No one to love or care for me. Knocked around all over, kind of grew up blind. My home's wherever I may be. I'm just cruising along the breeze, traveling around and roaming the seas. Like the birds that sing in my trees, ways to live and live in the breeze. The sky is the only roof I have over my head, and when I'm weary, Mother Nature makes me a bed. I'm just going along as I please, breezing along with the breeze. Ain't nobody yearning, wondering where I've been. I'm gone, but no one's missing me. Ain't no light a burning every night for me. Just like a bird, I'm flying free. I'm just breezing along in the breeze, traveling around and roaming the seas. Like the bird that's singing in the trees, pleasing to live and live in the breeze. The sky is the only roof I have over my head, and when I'm weary, Mother Nature makes me a bed. I'm just going along as I please, breezing along with the breeze, breezing along with the breeze. And of course, you all watched that Lucy and Desi movie, the long trailer that had that going through Early
the entire.
1950s, and it was one of their, I guess, first films, and this was the theme song throughout the movie. They played it 3-4 times. Now we're going to do one of the real standards for the mid-20s, and we always used to do kind of a medley. Maybe you guys do the same thing. 5 foot 2, then we go into Ain't She Sweet, and then the third one was Yes Sir, That's My Baby. So we're going to do that. Now we switched keys, and it's kind of interesting. We were kind of laughing every time in one of the jams that one of the numbers that we know is played. It's like it's all 5/5. If we play it in C, you guys would play it in F or B flat. And every single one, we changed this one. We used to play it in C, but for ease in singing, we changed it from a C to a G. So if you guys wanted to play along, it's yes,
And all this stuff, once again, for those who came late, just go to banjojudy.com.
She's got everything there.
There are tons of
all the
things
chords in at least the keys we're playing in.
And I also have sheet music. For those of you who like sheet music,
Oh yeah.
I've got PDFs of anything that's still in the public domain.
Before we do that, let's do the 1950s double song. If they
Oh,
wanna
yeah.
pass out,
Yeah, pass out those sheets. I think this is a fun thing, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4.
We have enough to do
We have
it.
7 people. So we want to divide the room into this half and that half. So that half is Michael's half.
they have to get the back
And
there so
that
they get the
half
word, the lyrics.
is my half. And we talked about Irving Berlin. He wrote, I think, 6 double songs during his
Yeah, he said, I think maybe 8, but
career.
he called them doubles. And Irving Berlin, as I was saying before, was musically illiterate. And guys who were trained, who had unbelievable knowledge of harmonics and all the fancy music stuff, people like Jerome Kern and George Gershwin, they were awed by Irving Berlin. That he could put together this. He didn't know what he was doing, but he wrote these contrapuntal numbers, and they were amazing. And these guys were blown away by it. Any case.
Think about the timing and putting on the rich. Dun, 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 dun.
So let's
That's
see.
hard.
So, Judy, divide this
I
group.
did. I from
3 of them
Over
there
there.
and 4 on the other side.
Cindy and you guys.
Are these guys going to sing the first one? So
You
what
guys
we'll-
are you guys are in my group. That's a good
Okay.
group.
So
The
we're
rest
gonna,
of you
we're
in
gonna,
Michael's group.
so we're gonna do, this number from I think it was first came out in 1950, and it was in a show called Call Me Madam. And it starred Ethel Merman, and when the movie was made, the young fellow, was Donald O'Connor. He wasn't in the original stage show. But the basic plot is,
This young man is just feeling differently from how he normally feels, and he can't understand why. And he goes to the older woman who's much wiser and more experienced, that being Ethel Merman. And he says, why am I feeling this way? And she explains why. And it's in the song. So the way the song works is,
I'll
Michael, you can just sing along with Michael. I think you'll know the song.
well, we'll do it first
We'll do it
by
once.
ourselves.
Okay, and then you-
We're gonna do it a few times with you guys. And you'll sing the parts and see if you can figure this out. I'm here singing and there's no one there. I smell blossoms and the trees are bare. All day long I sing along, on air I wonder why. I keep tossing in my sleep at night. And what's more, I've lost my appetite. Something moves to the skies are blue again. My eyes are
And then my part. You don't need analyzing. It is not so surprising that you feel very strange but nice. Your heart goes pitter patter. I know just what's the matter because I've been there once or twice. Put your hand on my shoulder. You need someone who's older. Rub down with a velvet glove. There's nothing you can take to relieve that pleasant ache. You're not sick, you're just in love.
Okay, so
And now,
this group's
you're gonna sing with me, you guys are gonna sing
and
with
you
Michael.
guys are gonna sing with my part.
Ready?
Okay.
You don't need analyzing. What are you doing?
We ought to do it first.
Oh, we're gonna do it so we can all sing it together, and then the third time through,
And then we'll sing
you'll
it
sing with
together.
me, and
So
you'll sing with
just do the part where I go.
Michael. Okay, we'll sing it all together now.
I hear singing and there's no one there. I smell blossoms and the trees are bare. All day long I see you walk on air. I wonder why. I wonder why.
It's not so surprising that you feel very strange but nice. Your heart goes pitter-patter, I know just what's the matter, because I've been there once or twice. Put your head on my shoulder, you need someone who's older, or rub down with the velvet glove. There's nothing you can take to relieve that pleasant ache. You're not sick, you're just in love. Okay, here we go. You don't need analyzing, and it's not so surprising that you feel very strange but nice. The heart goes pitter-patter, I know just what's the matter, because I've been there once or twice. Put your head on my shoulder, you need someone who's older, a rough down with the velvet glove. There's nothing you can take to relieve that pleasant ache. You're not sick, you're just in love. You're not sick, you're just in love. Great.
Clap for you guys, not for us.
That was fun. So people want to know, how do you sing these songs? Because we did two now. We did this one and we did, what was the other one we did? Won't You Play a Simple Melody? How do you do that and not get mixed up? Michael figured it out.
Yeah, it's similar to a successful marriage. You just don't listen to the other person. You should nod a lot. And is that right, Judy?
No idea what he's talking about.
No, when we first started doing it, we're not singers that you could probably figure out, but we never sang at all. And something like doing this kind of thing seemed so overwhelming. Now it's relatively easy. You have to do it a few times and it comes.
The worst thing is I don't want to be looking at that group when I'm singing my part, because that's really confusing. But if you don't look at each other, it's a lot easier.
Okay, and so we're talking about the 20s now. Everything.
We have about 15
I know,
minutes.
but
I just
sure.
I let you know.
So you think of the roaring 20s, you think of the jazz age, you think of these really up-tempo kind of numbers, but there were a lot of great ballads produced, and songwriters, they basically, they'll follow any kind of trend, and they're trying to make a living. One of the trends that occurred beginning in the late teens and into the 20s was a taste for Hawaiian music or tropical songs. And there were a lot that came over from the islands, but Tin Pan Alley guys would do their own songs. Here's one of our favorites. This is from mid-20s, famous writers who wrote the Richard Whiting
and Gus Kahn.
I mean, these are big-time songwriters. In any case, this is a lovely song. And we couldn't resist it because the title of it is Ukulele Lady. And there's ukulele lady doing it with the verses.
I saw the splendor of the moonlight on Honolulu Bay. There's something tender in the moonlight on Honolulu Bay. And all the beaches are full of peaches. They bring their ukes along. And in the glimmer of the moonlight, they love to sing this song. If you like the ukulele lady like you. If you like to linger where it's shady, ukulele lady lingers true. If you kiss a ukulele lady and you promise her to be true, then she sing another ukulele lady around with you. She used to sing to me by moonlight on Honolulu Bay. Fond memories cling to me in moonlight, although I'm far away. Someday I'm going where eyes are glowing and lips are made to kiss, to see somebody in the moonlight and hear the song. I miss everybody. If you like the ukulele lady, ukulele lady like you. If you like to linger where it's shady, ukulele lady linger too. If you kiss a ukulele lady and you promise ever to be true, and she see another ukulele playing rolling round with you, maybe she'll sigh and hold on. Maybe she'll cry.
Maybe not.
Maybe she'll find somebody else by and by to sing to when it's cool and shady, where the tricky wicky wackies move. If you like a ukulele lady like you.
Pretty song. How many people, show of hands, I'm just curious, ever heard the song before?
Well,
No?
Cindy knew it,
Is that-
and
yeah.
we learned it. I used to watch Sesame Street in the early '70s with my kids, and Miss Piggy
Miss Piggy
sang
sang.
that. I just thought that was really cool because I knew it, and Miss Piggy was singing it. That's great.
Now, one of the things we really like about the 20s music, and there's a lot of humor. They didn't take themselves too seriously like today's songwriters. You know, the only message was to, have people enjoy listening to the music. Most of the songs were really about love in one form or another. Any case, we're going to do a few humor songs right now.
I think we have time for 2 humorous songs.
Okay, yeah, you want to do
We're gonna-
Crazy Words, Crazy?
We're gonna do, this was written by Jack Yellen and Milt Ager. They wrote so many songs, like Ain't She, did they write
Yeah,
Ain't
they
She,
wrote
Ain't She
Ain't She
Sweet? And I can't remember some of the songs, but
Hard-Hearted Hannah.
yeah, they hundreds of wonderful songs as a team. And this one I played last night at the jam. I don't know if how many people were there, so I'm gonna play it again. It's about a really annoying ukulele player.
And that's pretty easy to find, right?
And this ukulele player played the same thing over and over and over and over. And he played it in the middle of the night, and he played it in the early morning hours. And they were thin walls in these apartments in the New York apartment not complexes, in the tenements. And he was really, he was getting on people's nerves. And they wrote this song called Crazy Words, Crazy Tune. And the key words in this are vo, vo, di, o, do. You all know that. Vo, vo, di, o, do. Join in. And here we go. Ready? Not much of an intro.
There's a guy I'd like to kill. If he doesn't stop, I will. Got a ukulele and a voice that's loud and shrill.
'Cause he lives next door to me, and he keeps me up till 3 with this ukulele and this funny melody. Crazy words, crazy tune, all that you'll ever hear him croon is Vodio, Vodio, do, Vodio. Sits around all night long, sings the same words to every song. His ukulele daily, how he'll strum, bum, bum, bum.
Then he hums like bottom.
Crazy words, crazy tune, he'll be driving me crazy soon. Vodio, Vodio, go. Sits around all night long, sings the same words to every song. His ukulele, tell me how to strum, bum, bum, bum. Crazy work is crazy too. Drive me crazy soon. Political statements now. Napoleon marched his men, turned around and he said to them, he said, Washington at Valley Forge, gee, 'twas cold, but Upspot George said, remember Patrick Henry in that speech, that famous speech.
Give me liberty or black bottom.
You all heard yesterday, what did President Coolidge say? Vovodio, 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 vovodio,
And for those of you who don't remember, Black Bottom was a big dance craze following the Charleston.
So I
Similar
think
to
we're going to finish with a really crazy song from 1930. And once again, so many. That one we heard from Jim Queskin's Jug Band. Ukulele Lady we learned from Jim Queskin's Jug Band. And this one, I think we learned from Jim Queskin and the Jug Band. And this was actually written by DeSilva, Henderson, and Brown. They wrote so many wonderful songs like Life is Just a Bowl of Cherries and, oh, well, you know who they are. So this is one that they wrote for a science fiction movie.
Was it 1930s?
And it's an insect love
It
song.
was a comedy, musical, science fiction thing. It was set 50 years in the future. So here's 1930. 50 years in the future, you can't even imagine. That's 1980, right? And you had flying cars and all these other things that, of course, have long since occurred. But any case, these were two kids who were singing about some science experiments on bugs. So it's a love song to
about insects.
insects. So
here's how it goes.
love has made me tender. I now appreciate every little creature on this earth it has made. Once I knew crickets, I couldn't stand the bee. Now here is a motto that I follow faithfully.
Oh, never spot a fly. He may love another fly. He may sit with her inside the way I do with you.
Never harm a flea. He may have favorite shit that he bounces on his knee the way I do with you.
Never stop a bee if he is flying anywhere.
You may be concluding something revealing love affair.
Be careful, don't step on an ant in the middle of a pit. He may want to, but he can't. The way I do with you. Da 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 da. I'm the same as you are. Tears come to my eyes when I see professors chasing helpless butterflies. Fishermen are hateful. They lead a wicked life. Every day they separate some husband from his wife.
Oh, and you never saw a fly. He may love another fly. He may sit with her inside the way I do with you.
Never spray a knit with a great big can of flint. You may think some knit has it the way I do with you.
Never stop a ball when he is flying through the air.
Oh, he may have a date in someone's flannel underwear. Be careful, don't dare to slay two mosquitoes while they play. They may want to make hey hey the way I do with you. Oh. everybody. Never saw a fly, even if I butterfly. Face it with her inside, the way I do with you. Oh, never harm a flea, even had a favorite tree. But he belts his honesty, the way I do with you.
Never stop believing he's going anywhere.
Or you may be including some terrific love affair. Be careful, don't step on an ant in the middle of a pan. He didn't want to, but he can. The way I do with you. Well, thank you. I know we all need to get ready to go to the History Museum. And we have to put on our blue shirts or something. So thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it.
We did.
If you have any questions, just ask.
Again,
See you
every number we
again.
did, and hundreds more are on Judy's site with all the chords in the